Stardew Valley, cream of the crop, or are we milking it?
Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're very happy to be introducing a brand new reviewer.
Yep. So, hi everyone. So my name is Emma, and today we'll be talking about Stardew Valley board game. So it's based on a popular computer game. So you inherit a farm from your grandfather, you quit your day job, and then you join the village, you do whatever from then on. So you can farm, you can raise animals, you can fish, you can go mining, and the board game just captures all of that then.
So it's a board game version of the computer game of the same name. Mm-hmm. So it's a game for 1 to 4 players. It's a game you can play solo. It's a game you can play with 2 to 3 players and up to 4 players. So I guess the first question I should ask really is, and I'm going to plow on with the first question, is what was your first impression of the game? Where did you see it for the first time?
So I saw it for the first time in a board game cafe in London. So it was just in Waterloo. There was shelves board games, and I spotted that and I wanted to play it, but we only had about 2.5 hours in the board game place. So my boyfriend promised me, we won't play it tonight, but I'll get it for you for Christmas. And true to his word, he actually found it in Dublin in October, and he bought it for me, and there it stayed on his board game shelf for 2 months, still in plastic. Couldn't.
For 2 months?
2 months.
So he tortured you with this for 2 months?
Oh yeah, that's it. And then we'd have board game nights, and he'd be like, oh, just pick whatever you want to play. And of course I'd have to take this one out. But no, I got it the week before Christmas.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I can say, was it worth the wait?
Oh, definitely. So I've played it about 9 or 10 times since Christmas alone. Like Christmas just gone. It's a great game, and there's lots of variability in it as well. So I suppose just the goals, it's card based, so you'll get different goals each game. The villagers you can befriend. It just depends on what way you shuffle the deck.
So you'd have a series of kind of objective goal cards, and depending what you draw, you would have to make friends with, say, 4 or 5 people. You have to get down to the certain level of the mine. You have to get so many fish. Farm so many crops, and it's a cooperative aspect when you do it. So I mean, the game we played now with Lorcan. Lorcan was the one fixating on the mining.
Yes.
I was fishing all day long, and you were doing absolutely everything else.
Yes, I think I was farming, but I kind of just picked up everything else. So I suppose you have 4 different professions, you can call them. So you can be a farmer, you can be a forager, you can be a fisherman or woman, and then you can also mine. So I suppose what's really handy about this is you set out the goals and then you decide your profession. So let's say now if one of the goals is you must reach the end of the mine, one of your players will have to be a miner.
We'll have to fixate and kind of focus solely on it. So it's a very interesting kind of cooperative game in that aspect that it allows you to specialise more.
That's it.
And what is your best player count? So I mean, is it you've played it solo, and you've played it with 2 to 3 players, and have you played it with the full 4?
I haven't, and I'd love to play it with the full 4 someday, but I'm also dreading it in that aspect. So it's with the more players you have, the easier some aspects get, and then the more difficult other aspects get. So for example, one of your goals might be you must make 2 friends multiplied by the number of players you have. So if you have one player, you just have to make 2 friends.
Yeah.
If you have 3 players, you must make 6. If you have 4 players, 8. So
it can really kind of expedite and kind of make things much more difficult.
I think 3 players.
3 players is best.
Yeah, I think that's the sweet spot.
Perfect, fair enough. Well, also it's interesting in the sense that if you have more players, you do have more things to do in the round, and the game is timed in terms of seasons. So you have spring, summer, autumn and winter. Yeah. And the goals change as the game goes through in those?
Yeah. So I suppose yes. So each season you have new crops to grow. So for example, you can only grow turnips in spring, so come summertime, bye turnips. You have to grow something else, like maybe peppers.
I hate turnips, that's fine with me.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, that's it. And maybe like there might be new forageables on the board. There might be, so maybe you can only get hazelnuts in autumn, or you could only get blackberries in autumn. Like there's just different things available for each season as well.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to talk about the aesthetics of the game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a beautiful, colourful looking game. Mm-hmm. And are you happy with the components in it? Were you happy with the way it looks on the table, how it handles?
Yeah. So, I suppose the first time I opened it, there was just a lot of tokens to pop out. And it was a bit overwhelming because, like, you had all the fish, you had all the minerals, you had all the, I suppose, ores, you had the crops. There was a lot there. And I suppose for storage capacity, it is a bit... So let's say now, like even having the board game like this, all the tokens will fall out of the tray. Yeah. But then it's not the game without those, because in the video game you have like a wide variety of crops to grow. You have all the fish to capture. So it wouldn't be the board game without it.
Well, that leads to my next question in terms of setup. Is it a game that's hard to set up or hard to teach?
It is the first time you play it. It gets easier after the first couple of times, but definitely we spent maybe 20-25 minutes setting it up at first, just getting all the tokens ready, because you have different ones for the different seasons, and then as you get more used to it, then the setup time gets shorter. So it would take us about 15 minutes now.
Perfect. Well, that's grand. That's familiarity again with the game as well. And like you've played it so many times, there's a good variability in the game.
Yeah, that's it. So the goals, they're on cards, so it just depends on the way you shuffle them. The friends you can make, it's the same. I suppose with the fish and the minerals and the artifacts, they're in 2 different bags, so you just reach into the bag and you just pick whatever. So yeah, there is, and like I've never played a game that's been very similar to a previous one, and like there's certain goals now that I've never achieved. You can actually marry a character in the game. Never achieved that. I've never managed to get the goals to achieve that. I'd like to someday, but it's just you'd have to get like all the ducks to line up.
I know what you mean. So yeah, it's good in the sense that like you've played it at least 10-15 times, and you still haven't kind of gotten all the value that this game has to offer just yet.
Yeah.
So the other thing I would ask now is, in terms of the computer game, do you think this has captured the essence and the atmosphere of the computer game and board game?
Definitely. So like it's a board game made by a fan for the fans.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is he's captured just all the different crops, the variability in what you could find in the mine, the variability in what you can like catch when fishing. And I suppose what I love is that when you're going to make a friend, certain characters might not like certain items. So for example, Marnie, she operates like I suppose you buy your annuals and your hay off her. So she loves animal products. So if you had milk or like an egg in your inventory, you'll make friends with her, no bother. And then if you had an item that maybe she hated, there's not a chance. Like I love that aspect of it, that they do incorporate the game. So if you had played the game previously, you'd know.
Yeah, there's a nice little nostalgia nods to it and things like that you get to kind of enjoy the game. So that's an interesting aspect, because in the computer game, I know now that the computer game is cooperative to a certain degree.
Yes.
But it wasn't initially. This is completely a cooperative game.
Yeah.
Now, in my own experience, there's a game I played similar to this called Robinson Crusoe, which you were on an island with a load of other pirates, and you had to work together in a cooperative aspect to get the gold, survive the island, and there was various scenarios. The atmosphere in that was a bit more tense, but the atmosphere in Stardew Valley is it's lovely. It's a really chill little game.
Yeah, I will say though, I think once you hit winter, there is that bit of like tension, because you maybe have like I think in our game we had maybe 1 or 2 goals left until the final turn. I think it's a nice relaxing game till you get to like the last 4 turns, and then it's a scramble to get it.
Yeah, it's a scramble, like you said. But
it's good in general. I think it's relaxing in general.
Well, I remember we played some of the music from the computer game when we were doing it. It was very relaxing. It was very chill. It was a lovely kind of chatty atmosphere type of thing. But the other thing in terms of homebrew rules as well, because like if you've told me that you've played an extra season now and again just to kind of finish it off.
That's it. Because with 16 turns, 16 turns is quite limited, I suppose, if you're soloing it. So with 2 players, like if you think about it, like it gets easier. But definitely I'd consider playing it with just an extra turn just to make it, I suppose, just that bit easier. And I suppose if I was playing with a younger player, I would consider it. But as well, I've had a home rule where I, like getting down to the bottom of the mines, for example, that's a very difficult task. And like I'm not the only person that thinks that either. So just if you're soloing that, I would just recommend just taking it out of the deck completely and just choosing like the other goals. Well, not choosing them, but like taking them out.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too difficult. I've tried to get down to the bottom of the mines myself, and I got down to level 6 out of 12. It's just not doable.
Fair enough. Well,
yeah.
Well, you never know. You might power play through it.
That's it.
One of the days. The next thing I want to ask you about is expansions. Is this a board game you'd like to see expansions for?
Oh, I'd love to see expansions for it. So there's, in the video game itself, they had a big expansion recently, 1.5. So they introduced new animals like the ostrich. They introduced like a whole load of like post-game activity, and you actually go visit new areas. What I'd love to see is maybe like expansion packs in terms of cards. Like I say, that's probably the only way it would work. Maybe is just introduce the new characters, introduce new crops, maybe like new festivals, and then what's really interesting is there's a new expansion coming out then for the video game. It was just announced just this week. It's 1.6, and I'd be interested to see if aspects from that would also make it into the board game. It would be nice to see it.
Well, that's actually one thing. Is there any characters or animals that they've left out of the board game from the normal 1.4 computer game? Or are all the characters there, as far as you know?
All of the characters are there, as far as I know. There's maybe 3 or 4 characters that they added in 1.5, so they're not a big loss. I think in terms of animals then, there is one animal that's missing from the board game. Well, so you have like the coop and you have the barn, so you can have your chickens and your ducks. You can also have a dinosaur in the video game. That hasn't made it in here.
Fair enough.
You can also have a void chicken, so it's like a dark chicken. I don't know, it's a goth chicken. He lays like black eggs. It's a bit metal, but so he hasn't made it in. There's also another barn animal. Oh, a pig. So in the board game, instead of being able to buy a pig, he's actually part of an upgrade. So he does count as an animal for, I suppose there is like a goal where you own so many animals. So the pig card, if you draw him, he does count. But he's actually not, you can't get like truffles or anything off in the board game, which I think is a big loss, because that's actually how I make all of my money in the video game.
So it forced you to change up your strategies.
That's it, yeah.
Well, one last question I have for you, and obviously you fall in love in the board game, characters, things like that. So if Stardew Valley went up in fire, and you're going to rescue one person, who are you going to rescue?
Sebastian. So he is a emo boy who lives in his mother's basement until you marry him. And he likes frogs, he's a computer gamer, he plays Dungeons and Dragons, and one of his heart events, he takes you on a ride on his motorbike, and you go up to a cliff and you watch the starry sky and you kiss. It's very romantic. So definitely Sebastian. Don't tell my boyfriend that.
Okay, fair enough. So Lorcan, don't watch this video, okay? Well, I have to say thank you very much for coming and being with us for the Lucky Roll today, and I hope to see you review lots more games in the future, and who knows, we might even rope Lorcan in for a review or 2 or 10. So until next time, my name is Sean.
And my name is Emma.
If you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, good luck, God bless, and stay safe.